Manifesting section of Divine Connection. This is one of my favourite areas that I love talking about. I absolutely love manifesting. So this webinar, I've called it the Steps to Successful Manifesting. So what we're going to cover. So I'm going to cover in this webinar the top belief blocks that stop our success. So this is the main theme for this webinar today. And with the manifesting section in Divine Connection, I've broken it down into subsections. So in the webinar, we're going to cover the top beliefs that are blocking us, okay? And there's some really good journaling prompts. So if you've got a pen and paper to hand, you can journal as we go through and make some notes, or you can listen and then go back and do the journaling prompts in the separate PDF that I will provide for you. So when it comes to the healing and activation meditation, I'm going to split it into two different meditations. The first one is going to be the healing and activation meditation. So we're going to be energy clearing to release self-doubt. We're going to find and receive your negative beliefs and blocks that are stopping you from receiving more. We're going to let go of some old patterns and thought processes, so the limiting beliefs, and we're going to look to activate and rebalance your energy levels for abundance. So that is balancing out your masculine and feminine energy channels. And then the second part to the healing meditation is going to be a pure activation. So this is going to look to activate your vision boards for manifesting. So it's a vision board manifesting meditation. And the reason why I've split them is because you'll need to do the healing as one section, and then the activation meditation for your vision boards is something that you can keep coming back to. So when you have achieved what's on your vision board, you know, you might want to go ahead and create another one. So therefore you'll need to activate it using the Theta meditation, going up to the white light of the divine. So at least you can keep going back time and time again to reactivate. So that's why I've split it into two. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's do a deep dive on the blocks. So the first block that whenever I'm with clients and they want to start manifesting is when we really start to dig on it, about why they want to manifest. A lot of it comes up, okay, and it's happened to me, is that I am not good enough for that manifestation. So it comes under the banner of self-worth, no confidence, and over perfection. So self-worth. So you're wanting to manifest something. I want you to check what rules you put on being worthy of that manifestation. Okay, so whenever you look to create your vision board, it will sometimes bring things up for you. So say for instance you're putting a beautiful home on your vision board, but actually as you're looking through the pictures, there's one that's a really big mansion, and there's one that's just, you know, still a beautiful home, but maybe not as big. Okay, I want you to sit there and think, are you putting any rules on yourself for not asking for more? The next area is that blocks us is that we lack confidence. All right, we lack confidence in obtaining what we want in our manifestation. So I want you to reverse this. I want you to look at where you are confident in your life and what you're confident about. You know, is it your job? Is it your salary? Okay, is it your love life? You know, most of us are confident in driving and cooking and skills like that. So where are you confident? Sometimes it's really good to actually write out a list of what you're good at and your talents and your assets, because sometimes we very much focus on what we're not good at, okay, rather than what we are good at. Another good area to look at is to have your Clifton Strengths test. I'll put the link into the resources portal. But that is quite game changing. Okay, I've had my Clifton Strengths done a number of weeks ago, and I did giggle at where my top strengths are. And I would say, look, I would have always had those strengths, but they wouldn't be as high up on the list as they are now, and that's because I've done a lot of inner work on myself over the last number of years. So my confidence has grown in different areas, but look at where you're confident in your life at this moment in time. We also need to look at changing the story and changing your mindset. So that is, in Theta Healing, removing the limiting beliefs, okay? Because when you remove the limiting beliefs, when we pull them out of you and we download you with positive beliefs, because whatever we release, we need to fill up that energy vortex with a positive. This is where your confidence grows. This is where the shifts change and can change in your life. Another area that we block under this banner is perfectionism, okay? And this is me to a T. I'll hold my hand up and be completely honest. I would say that, maybe my 100% of being perfect is probably someone else's 80%. So, yeah, this is me to a T. We've got to get to a point where we're making progress over perfection. And this is actually something that we call a self-sabotage. And I've spoken before about the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I think that was something that I recommended in part of the self-love and positive thinking program. But I would invite you to read that. So over perfectionism is a self-sabotaging patterns. So journal on the thought process of what areas in your life is constantly stopping you moving forward and changing and making growth. So those are the major blocks, and we do have beliefs that sit alongside those, and I'll just read out a few and we'll clear some of them in the healing meditation as well. So one of the bottom beliefs that comes up, and do you remember how to check your beliefs? So we check them through muscle testing in Theta Healing. I will put a explanation on muscle testing in the portal so that you can go ahead and check, and I'll put a demo video of me doing how to check your beliefs. I actually check my beliefs with a pendulum. I just prefer working with a pendulum rather than doing the standing method. So basically what you do is you stand up and you always make sure that you're well hydrated, and you close your eyes and you just gently bend your knees and you just say yes, 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 and you should naturally tip forward, and then you would say no, 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 and you should go back. If you're the opposite way round, just tap yourself on the head because that just recalibrates you a little bit, and check again. And then you can ask some questions. You can say, my name is Claire. If that was me, I would be tipping forward. If it was you and your name's not Claire, you would be tipping back. And you can check I'm a woman, I'm a man, and see which way you tip forward or back. And then you can go in and check your beliefs. Now, when you check your beliefs, you want to actually state that you're checking it on 4 levels. And the 4 levels is what we discussed, I think that was in week 2 around Theta Healing. The 4 levels is the core level, the history level, the genetic level, and your soul level. Okay, so you're checking that you've got those beliefs stored on any of those levels. If you don't say the 4 levels, you're just checking on them in you, the here and now, and you're not checking it as a past life on the history level. So that's the past life and the 7 generations and back more, and the collective consciousness on the genetic line, so that's your life and going back 7 generations, on the core level, which is you, the here and now in this life, and on the soul level. So we check the belief. So you would state, I have this belief on all 4 levels, and then you would state the belief, and you'd wait to see whether you go forward and back. If you're going forward and back, you've got the dual beliefs, so you've got them running on the positive and the negative of that belief. So one of the beliefs that you should be checking is, when I make money doing a job I love, I will be worthy and allowed to love myself. So when I make money doing a job I love, I will be worthy and allowed to love myself. The other one, which is a bit like a dual belief, is when I make money doing a job I hate, I will be worthy and allowed to love myself. So check that belief, because we'll remove that in the healing meditation. It's easy to avoid rejection on a small scale rather than a large scale. That's a belief. It's easy to avoid rejection on a small scale rather than a large scale. I get to be right and prove my beliefs are right. That's a belief as well. All right. So check those. All right. So another way that we block manifesting is that we have a major fear of success. So we actually sometimes fear success more than fear of failure. All right. So what do I mean by that? So what will happen, you need to journal the question, what will happen if I become so successful, blah, 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 X, Y, Z. All right. You can journal on what will happen if I get my dream home. What will happen if I meet my love of my life? What will happen if I manifest a new child? What will happen if... Okay, so you really want to jump into the bigger picture. So some of the things that, what will happen if I become so successful? It's about maintaining that success. Can I cope? All right. Finding a soulmate and it falls apart. Some people, this really is quite a common belief around, especially if they've been through a marriage and it's fallen apart, or they've had their love of their life and it didn't work out. Okay, so they run those programs of, I find my soulmate and it falls apart. So this actually then becomes a fear of success. So they spend their life looking for this soulmate, and when the person could become a soulmate, they self-sabotage it and it all goes wrong. And then that sort of then goes back to that belief of, I get right and prove my beliefs are right. So that comes up. It's quite interesting belief work and digging around it. So what will go wrong? Okay, it won't last. My success won't last. My soulmate and I won't last. So you really want to start thinking, what's the worst thing that will happen? What's the worst thing that will happen if I get X, Y, and Z? Okay, because that will help you clear the self-sabotaging limiting beliefs around manifesting that. Okay, so it starts to open up the bigger picture, because once you've cleared them, they're cleared, they've gone. Okay, and then you can move forward. Some people are always looking for the next chase. I love the chase. Okay, some people are really worried about more responsibility. So, if I find my soulmate, we move in together, you might want to have children, that means more responsibility and things like that. Sometimes you just think, oh my God, this is mad. But remember that some of these beliefs might not actually be yours, okay? Because we carry the beliefs on those 4 levels, okay? So that's why muscle testing is really good when we come into doing sort of manifesting and visions and vision boards. All right, hopefully you're with me so far. The other fear that we have is the fear of growth and expansion. So this goes back to the book as well, The Big Leap. So going from your comfort zone into your stretch zone. Now, when we are manifesting, we are never manifesting in our comfort zone. Okay, when we want to manifest, we want something more, don't we? We want something bigger, we want something better. Okay, so whether it's more money, a bigger house, a new holiday, something along those lines. I'm just picking some examples out. We are not wanting that from who we are here now today. We're wanting it from the better, bigger growth expansion version of ourselves. So we cannot manifest in the zone we are now. We've got to manifest from that stretch zone, especially if you want really big goals and targets on your vision board that you want to manifest. Okay, so for instance, I'll give you an example. If you want to be a 6-7 figure business woman, okay, that's running her own business, and you're working for someone at the moment, okay, say maybe in a corporate job or something along those lines, you are not going to get the 6-7 figure business being the woman in the corporate job. You've got to get out of that job. Okay, so you've got to move from your comfort zone. So the job that you're in now is comforting, I would imagine. You've got to move from that comfort zone into your stretch zone to become that entrepreneur of a 6-7 figure businesswoman. So you're moving from your comfort zone into your stretch zone. You've got to manifest as though you're already in that stretch zone. Are you with me? So some people have that fear of moving from the comfort zone into the stretch zone. The other one is, as I've said before, is the fear of success. All right, so let's just dig a little bit more on that. So the majority of people are more afraid of success than failure, because they're afraid, especially us women, we're terribly, terribly afraid of being judged. We're very afraid of having to become visible. And we also run those beliefs on different levels, different programs of leaving people, our loved ones and our family behind, okay? So we worry about if we move from our comfort zone into our stretch zone, okay, we change, we grow and we evolve. We can't help that, that's just a natural process. But we're also worried about leaving people behind, okay? So we're leaving our family, our friends and our loved ones behind. So think about, is that something that you would stop you moving forward, is the leaving of people and your family behind. Okay, the next slide. What I want to discuss with you is manifesting from the highest and best version of you. So we've talked about moving from your comfort zone into your stretch zone, okay, because you've got to become that new person in order to receive that manifestation. You need to connect to becoming that soul-led person. It's all about being in alignment and soul agreements. Okay, so some of this program is we've connected you to your soul. I think in week 1 we looked at connecting you to a future version of yourself, okay, which was great. Also about being in alignment. So alignment is also comes under the explanation of soul agreements. So you know that we have our human self here in this life, what we're learning, but we're actually a soul living a human experience. Okay, we're not a human living a soul experience, it's the other way around. And we've done a few meditations and healings around calling back our soul fragments and cleansing them that have been lost through time and space. But it's also making your whole, this program is making about your being connected back to soul, being in alignment, creating your stronger intuition and your guidance, and bringing you back to alignment. When you are in that alignment, you can connect to your soul, you can connect to the divine, but you can also follow your true path, all right? So soul agreements is something that your soul has said that it would learn, coming down and having this human experience in this life as we speak now. And there are certain virtues that we need to learn, so they're soul agreements, and there's certain lessons that we need to learn. So When we are living in alignment and we're living our soul's agreements, our soul's purpose, our soul's passion, our manifesting abilities show up a lot easier because you're living your soul's truth. What I want you to think about is when you start manifesting and creating your vision, is what is your big why? Okay, and I'll discuss that on the next slide. Now, with your soul agreements, being in alignment, finding out your true path and the lessons and the virtues that you need to learn in this life, you actually get to choose how you live out that. Okay, so you have options on your desires. So say for instance that one of your purposes was to write a book. Okay, now that's up to you how you write that book and what you write that book on. It might be that you decided to write it as a digital book, as an ebook, or you might wanted to write something that was more and came out as a blog, or maybe you preferred to do it as a podcast, but it's still got the same type of content and the same reach to different people. So you actually get to choose how you deliver your passion and your purpose, your soul purpose. Feminine energy is another big thing that we'll look to discuss in a minute, and how you can tap into your feminine energy, because feminine energy is all about receiving, okay, and it's moving away from the hustle and grind. So hustle and grind is all about masculine energy. It's when you think about masculine energy, it's about the hunter, the gatherer, the going out, the provider, very much along those lines, the very go, 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 go. And a lot of women actually don't tap into their feminine energy. They are more in their masculine energy. I know myself, I was very much more in my masculine energy, and it wasn't until I really connected and found my feminine energy that things became a lot easier for me. Okay, but I'll discuss that on the next two slides. The other thing that maybe you need to look at is, do you need more skills? Okay, so say for instance, moving from me, in my last business as the, image consultant, stroke hairdresser, makeup artist, that business that I had then, could I manifest? I could manifest that I wanted to be a spiritual healer. Did I know that I was going to be a spiritual healer? No way. But it was starting to follow that pathway. But I needed to upskill and learn certain lessons and understandings to be able to do the job that I'm in now. So, if I sit where I am now and I start to vision about what I want in 5 years' time, yes, I could put that down on my vision board, but I would need to have more skills in order to get there. So it might be that I need to take more courses. It might mean that I need to get in contact with a coach and things like that, which is what I do. I do look for external help in order for me to get to my next vision and soul purpose. So I call in support, okay? But I also need the skills to be able to get me there. So it might not be that I can become that, say for instance, I wanted to write a book. I'm not going to be able to sit and write a book tomorrow. I'm going to have to learn certain skills, have help, maybe coaching, to be able to get me to be a #1 bestseller on Hay House, something along those lines, okay? So it gives you an idea. So my big why, all right, this is really important when it comes to manifesting. So when someone comes to me, some of my private clients, and they say, I want to manifest this, I want to create this, I need help to remove the hidden blocks and the limiting beliefs. So my first question is, why do you want this? Why do you want this? And some of them actually don't know their big why. They might know their why for 2 or 3 years down the track, but they actually don't know their soul purpose and mission why. That's one of the things I love doing, is shifting timelines. So that's quantum jumping. So it's jumping into the future 2, 5 and 10 years ahead of time to really figure out people's big why and understand what the blocks are and the limiting beliefs and the healings around that. And it's when they really find their big why, their soul purpose and passion, then that's the driving factor for them getting there. So they really need to tap into that main desire. You need to really feel into the emotion and energy. And the emotion and energy that you need to feel into is the energy and the vibration of joy and love, because that's the highest vibe that you can come to. And when you're doing your passion and your purpose, or you want to create that vision and that manifestation, is that when you connect into the why and you can really feel into it, and you're feeling it from a place of joy and love, that is the key to open the door to walk forward and bring all your manifestations to life. So for me, a couple of years ago, it was my big why was to help 100 women transform. Now, I didn't really mind how I did that, whether it was through, a meditation evening and they just rocked up and listened to a couple of my meditations, or they downloaded a few meditations off of my website, or whether they did the manifesting masterclass, whether they came and had their colours done, or they had a beautiful transformation, image transformation on the outside, or maybe they just had some theta sessions. It didn't matter, but all I knew is that I wanted to help 100 women transform. For me now, my big why is that I want to help 1 million women transform. So that is my big why. And when I feel into that, is because I feel into the joy and the love that the transformations have happened for me and my life, and how it's helped my life, my family evolve. And it's even had knock-on effects to my parents and things like that. So the bigger family as well. And when I really connect into that joy and love, and I really want women to feel that feeling of joy and love that I feel every single day when I wake up and I'm doing the work that I love doing. That's my big why. And the other day I did a beautiful soul meditation, doing some channeling, ready for this webinar for you. And I was at the golden light came forward, so that was my soul, and gave me a beautiful big red heart. And I consciously said, okay, so what's that for? And they said, because everything has to be done through joy and love. And that was the message that was given to me. And it was like, right, okay, I always need to make sure that I'm connecting into that energy and vibration of joy and love in everything that I do. So as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm connected to the energy of joy and love. So that's your big why. So what is your big why? I want you to just sit there for a moment and think on it. Why do you want that vision? Why do you want that vision to come to life? Why do you want to manifest that? Why do you want it? Why do you want it? And as you're doing it and you're creating your vision board and you're looking at it every day, I want you to connect into the energy of joy and love while you're looking at it. Connect back into that highest vibration. And when you are connected to that joy and love, while you're looking at that manifestation or your vision board, I don't want you to think about how it happens. You've got to let go of the how. And connecting to the desire, and connecting to the desire to feel good about yourself, because that also helps you to regain your feelings of empowerment. And sometimes your big why might be material things, it might be physical things, okay, that you want. So for instance, like when I was doing a vision board not so long ago, there was some material things on there that I wanted. Okay, so I put in a beautiful citrine crystal. Okay, so that's material. But that also makes me feel good having my crystals around me. So that's physical, that's emotional as well. So physical for me, it was to do like a yoga or Pilates class 2 to 3 times a week. All right, so that went on my vision board because that needed to be physical, but that also will help me to unblock and create flow. It might be that you want to put things like relationships on your vision board as well. They could manifest some relationships. All right, so when you're manifesting relationships, you've really got to get into the emotions of that, how it's going to make you feel. So connecting to the joy and love of a relationship. And it might be that sometimes you've got to let some relationships go because they're not bringing you joy and love. Okay? So decide right now, no matter how good or how bad you feel, you're going to do the best to make the best of it. So how do you connect into your big why? Okay, so it's through meditation and it's through journaling. So really connecting into the why is the key. So I had someone come have a conversation with me, one of my private clients the other day, and she wants to sell her home. And I said, and she said, I'm thinking of this figure. I said, okay, why? And she said, well, because I want it. I said, why? She goes, I do. I said, why? So she said, I don't know what you mean. She said, because it would be really nice. I was like, yeah, I know it would be really nice. It's always nice. But why? Why do you want that figure rather than that figure? And she's like, I don't know why. I said, you need to connect to the desire. You need to connect to the emotion of joy and love. And she sat there and she pondered and she went, yeah. So I said, okay, I'll give you a few pointers. So by having another X amount in your bank, what will that do? What will that do for you to give back? In order for you to receive that, what could you do with that money to give back? And she thought, So I said, it could be that you could employ someone else in your team. I said, that could help you as well. I said, that could actually then even make you more money in your business. So she pondered on that. And then I said, it could be that that money could then go towards your big why. And she knows what her big why is. And she pondered on that and thought, So that started to open up her expansion and energy field into more possibilities. She thought. I said, it might be that you might be able to employ your part-time someone full-time. I said, it might be that, having that could then give you that, but also give back to someone else in that way. And then the keys started to turn for her. So another thing is that people get stuck with is manifesting taking so long. And that comes down to creating and having a balanced masculine and feminine energy. So as I said earlier, masculine energy is the go-getter. All right, so let's call masculine the go-getter, the hunter and the gatherer. And the feminine energy is one where the feminine just sits there and receives. Okay, so you do need a balance of both. Okay, so using your intuition and your guidance will help you step into the feeling of more of a masculine energy and more of a feminine energy. So it might be that, you create your vision board, you look to start doing some manifesting, and as you're sitting there and you're creating, you're birthing your vision, you are using your feminine energy to make that creation, okay? But it's not that you can just create that creation and have it sitting on your wall and, you know, chant over it every day and bless it at 111 and light a green candle and, you know, smudge it and sage it and things like that. Sometimes you've got to take action, all right? So then you've got to step into your masculine energy. So you have got to do use both energies. You've got to have a balance of both. So I want you to sit here for a second and think, where in your life do you sit more in the feminine energy and the masculine energy? Okay, do you use more masculine energy or do you use more feminine energy? What's the percentage? I definitely, when it came to business, was more in my masculine energy. Totally. And it wasn't until I started playing around and actually did more of my embodiment, empowerment, coaching certification. Okay, that's very much feminine woo-woo is probably the easiest way to describe it. And I really called back my feminine energies. Now, if you struggle, one thing that it shows up in the body, okay, so different areas of energies show up as illnesses in the body. So not being in your feminine energy, sometimes we have hormonal issues, and we can have issues with women's problems, so, you know, like polycystic ovaries, endometriosis, heavy periods and things like that. So that can be a sign of we're not in our feminine energy as much, okay? One sign that showed me that I was more in my masculine energy was that I had very bad adult acne along those lines as well. I mean, I did have gut issues that didn't help with that either, but that was a sign for me as well. That was more in my masculine and not in my feminine energy. And yes, you can connect back to your feminine energy. It's very, very easy to do that. It's just a case of doing some healing around that, and also looking at the feminine. Is the word characteristics? Maybe that's probably not quite the right word to describe. The feminine role models in your family. A lot of us do shy away from using our feminine energy because we have a mixed understanding of feminine power and things like that. So we do tend to sort of see who our feminine role models were as we were growing up, and sometimes we either connect into that or we don't connect into that. So sometimes we have to do some healing around that. So that's your masculine and feminine energy. So, manifesting from a place of lack. So let's talk manifesting and vibration, okay? So once again, a bit like looking at your comfort zone into your stretch zone, but we also don't want to be manifesting from a low vibration, okay? So a low vibration is negative thoughts, fear and lack. It's the wrong frequency. When you're in that lower vibration and what you focus on, that's what you manifest back. Basically, we're always manifesting. We cannot turn off the manifesting dial. Okay, so if you're in a low vibe and you're focusing on fear and lack, like attracts like, you'll manifest more of it. You need to move out of that lower vibration by making the shift. And I've explained this before in different webinars. It's making that shift from low to high vibe. So how do you move out of it fast? Okay, so it's dance, music, okay, things that bring you joy and happiness. So we're moving from a low vibe to a high vibe. We know the high vibe is the place of joy and love. So it's moving from the low to the high. So what's going to bring you joy and love? Is it dance? Is it music? Is it exercise? Meditation? For me, it's always meditation. Surround yourself with positive people. So if you've got negative Nancy's around you, okay, I'm not saying cut them off completely, but I'm saying really work out where you are spending your time. Look at doing some inner work, removing the beliefs. Great affirmations, okay? What you need to be focusing on is changing your vibe, drinking water, getting into nature, grounding yourself, gratitude and journaling, be forward thinking and taking action. Okay, you've got to move you out of the past and start looking at the future. Those are the best ways of moving forward. All right, so ways that we can release resistance, release the manifesting from a place of lack is releasing resistance, getting into energetic alignment and changing your mindset. So releasing the resistance. So what is resistance? How do you know that you are resisting anything? You're too busy. I'm too busy for this. I'm too busy for that. Okay. You procrastinate. You don't take action. Okay. So you're manifesting, the X, Y, and Z on your vision board, but you're not actually taking action towards it. Okay. So that is actually a little bit stepping into your masculine energy. You can't make a decision, okay? You lose interest, you're forgetful, you're disorganized, you fog up and space out, you feel paralyzed and stuck, excuses, you make excuses, you're impatient, and you accept put downs from others, okay? So that's like self-sabotaging and releasing the resistance. Sometimes just by bringing awareness to things makes you realize, oh, I do that, yeah, I do that. And that can be healing in itself. You need to get into being a vibrational match. Okay, so that's moving out of your stretch zone, out of your comfort zone into your stretch zone, but also removing the lower vibrations and energies and into the higher energies. And you've got to try and keep staying in that energetic alignment. Okay, so by doing gratitude every day and building on strong foundations, you're going to build your frequency, and your new frequency becomes your new set point. So that is like moving from comfort zone into stretch zone. So it does feel uncomfortable when you've been stretched. Okay, I'm going through a stretch at the moment and it does feel uncomfortable, but I keep up with my gratitude every single day. I do my meditations, I do my inner work, I clear my beliefs as and when I feel they come up, so I can stay in energetic alignment to become that new match. So basically you move from your comfort into your stretch zone, but eventually your stretch zone becomes your new comfort zone, and then you can stretch again if you wish to. Okay, so mindset, mindset, you can call it mindset, clearing negative beliefs, paradigms, stories, there's all different words for it, but it's basically releasing old programs that are not always yours. That's why it's always good to check it on the 4 different levels. All right, because sometimes I'll say you're running this program to a client and they'll say, no, I'm not. And I say, come on then, let's just check the belief. I have this really strong urge, this is what I'm being told. And we check it on the 4 levels and it comes up. I'll give you an instance. I had one client that had been divorced for a number of years, and she wanted to work on her money blocks because she wanted to up-level her business. And I said to her, I think you're still energetically married to your ex-husband. And she went, no, I'm not. I said, that's what's coming through, and you don't want to move to the next level in your finance and your business because you're energetically still married, and there was a lot of issues around money when they were married. And she said, no, never. I said, come on, let's have some fun. Let's energy check you. Let's muscle test you. And we muscle tested her, and she was energetically still married. Her body energetically still felt married to her ex-husband. So what did we do? I know you'll be wondering what we did. So we had to call back her soul fragments. We had to release and cleanse DNA from her body out, cleanse it and send it back to him, and then call back hers as well. So we did some of that, and we did some other belief work around it and cleared those, and it was fine. So that was like one of the first sessions that we had to do. That was what I was told told to do. So yes, sometimes you've got these beliefs, this mindset, these programs and these stories stored, and you think, no way. But until you muscle test and check, that's when they need to be cleared. So you've got to release. I want you to think about releasing the idea for asking for more means more work, more struggle, more hustle. And this is good as it gets. So I want those are beliefs, okay, so you can check them. And we want to download you with the new thoughts. So we want to release the old, install the new. And the reason why that we release the old and the new is because you have this energetic field around your whole body. And when you have stories and programs released out of your energetic field, I don't want to leave a void, okay? Because when you've got empty voids, you don't want things coming in and being stored in there, because there could be other people's thoughts and feelings and emotions that can come in, okay? So you can soak up other people's ideas and programs, and I don't want other people's ideas and programs in you. I want your own positive ideas and programs in. So that's when we release. We've always got to install. So what comes out, new has to go in. So your new thoughts installed is, what if it was possible that life could become better? All right, so journal on that. I'm worthy and deserving of unlimited abundance in all areas of my life. And I am open and available to receive plenty. So you can use those as affirmations, okay? So do you remember in week 1, we did the I am statement, and I said write it out 55 times over 5 days. That's one way to do a download into your subconscious, okay? So rather than having a theta healing session where I energetically download it to you straight away, if you want to be empowered and take over your own healing and do your own affirmations and downloads, that's how you're going to do it. You're going to write out, I am open and available to receive plenty 55 times over 5 days. You can't make a break, okay? So if you get to day 3 and then you forget on day 4, you've got to go back, okay? So it's 55 times over 5 days. That's how you install a new download into you without having a theta healer practitioner do it, okay? And you can muscle test yourself, okay? You can muscle test and check that that belief has gone in, all right? So inspired action and connection. So you have created your vision board, okay? You're going to look to manifest, but you've got to take inspired action and connection, all right? So say, for instance, you want a new job, okay? You can manifest it, you can put it on your vision board, you can do the manifesting meditation, but unless you take inspired action and connection, it might not happen. And the reason being, really looking for jobs.